Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and let's take the mystery out of fusible web tapes. Fusible web tape is very similar to regular tape. It's designed to stick things together. And there's many different types, so let's take the mystery out of them. I'm going to use heat and bond as an example because they have a lot of different varieties. When we look at them this way, the only thing we really notice different about the packages are the colors. And the colors do mean things. Heat and bond comes in many different sizes. In front of us, what we have is a 5mm or a 3/16 of an inch, 6mm or a 1/4 of an inch, 10mm or a 3/8, 16mm or 5/8, 19mm or 3/4 of an inch, and 22mm, which is 7/8 of an inch. In the different sizes, you can get many different packages. So the first thing you need to look for is what size of tape are you going to need. Once you've established the size, we then can establish what the use is going to be for. The blue is called light. This is really good for all different fabrics. It is permanent once those edges are sewn down. It can be machine washed and dried, and it gets softer and softer as it is washed in the machine. The purple package is a light. So we have really light and then a regular light. It has the same qualities as the light, it's just a little bit stronger. So you could use it with a little bit of a heavier fabric. From there, we have this red. And the red is the Ultra Hold. The Ultra Hold is the strongest. So it is permanent, but you don't need to stitch it down to keep that permanent. So there's no sewing required with this red one at all. The yellow package is designed for stretchy type fabrics, and it's called soft stretch. And you can get it in a light and a medium. And you can also use this with regular fabric. It doesn't have to have a stretch. All four of these need to be used with an iron. If you do not want to iron, you need to look for the green package. You're just going to be able to press those layers together with your hand, and once the glue has set, it is going to be permanent. The other thing you can get is a product called a hem tape, and it is designed for hemming. And in the hem tape, you can get different sizes. You can get a regular that go from light to medium, or a super, which is your heavier type fabrics. It is permanent, it does need the heat, but we don't need to do any sewing at all with this. Let me show you an example of how these are going to work. We'll start with these four because they're very similar on how they're going to work. We have the feather light, the Ultra Hold, and the soft stretch. When you look very closely, you're going to see one side has a piece of paper on it. When you turn it over, the other side is a little bit shiny, and you can feel it has tiny little bumps on it. This side is where the glue is sitting. The paper side just makes it easy for us to use because this ends up working like a two-sided tape, but we need to iron it so the paper is going to protect the iron. To work this, the first thing you're going to do is put the glue side down on the fabric and cut to the size that you need. Then you're going to take the iron and press that down. So the paper is the right side up, so you're not going to get any glue on top of the iron. The iron for this soft stretch needs to be set at a medium high with no steam. And you're going to hold the iron down for about 5 seconds. It's important that you follow the right heat temperature for the right tape, and that way it's going to stick correctly. More heat is not going to make it stick better. It's only going to melt it and not let it do what it's designed to do. So no matter what fusible web you have, be sure to follow the right temperature for the iron. Once it's cooled down, you're going to be able to take that paper off, and you're going to have that fusible web stuck to the fabric. So the paper has done its part. We're going to be able to get rid of that. Now we're going to be able to fold that and just hold it there for about 5 seconds. Again, we need to let that cool down so that the glue has a chance to work or to dry. So once you do this, it definitely is permanent. Now you're going to be able to stitch along that and secure it on. All of the fusible webs with the paper work in the same way. The only difference you're going to be looking for is how strong do you want it? Are you going to use it stretchy? Do you want something light or very very, very heavy? And this heavy one, you don't sew through it at all. Matter of fact, it's very hard to sew through. The next is the peel and stick one. So if you're going to use it to hem up a pair of pants, the first thing you're going to do is set the hemline. So I'm going to iron the position that I want to put my hem in, regardless if it's a shirt sleeve or a pair of pants or a skirt. When you open up this roll, you still have the paper on one side, but this side is very sticky. So you're going to be able to cut the size that you want. You're going to be able to take that tape and put it right along the edge of your fabric. Just rub it down. Peel back that paper and you have another really sticky side. Fold it back and press it down with your hands. It is a glue, so the glue will need to set. I can peel it back right away and readjust it, but over a couple of hours, it's going to set and become more permanent. You can put that fabric on something of a hard surface and then rub that fabric in using something firm. I like to use the back of a pair of scissors. You're just going to push those fabrics together. That's just going to make that glue stick even better. And once you let that sit, it will be permanent. The next is hem tape. And you're going to know it's for a hem because somewhere on the package, it actually says hem. The difference is this does not have any paper on it. So it's fusible from both sides, but it's not sticky. It is recommended that you put your hem up into the position that you want and iron that position in. Now you can open that up. You're going to want to put your hem tape down and then place the hem back. So you want to make sure that that tape is not showing or it's going to goop up the iron. But you do want to get it as close as you can along that edge. Once you have no tape showing and it's right along that edge, you're going to be able to fuse it in place. Once you're finished pressing it on one side, turn it over, press it from the second side. Once that has cooled down, it is permanent. The hem tape also comes in the different colors, so you can get it for light, medium, and the extra heavy. When you do go to choose your fusible tapes, the first thing you need to keep in mind is how wide do you want that? The next is what fabric are you going to use it on? Do you need it on a stretch fabric or a very lightweight fabric? Do you want it very heavy where you're not going to do any sewing at all? Or do you want to top stitch and finish it off? They are all permanent. They are all machine washable. And if you're quilting, they do have the tapes that are designed to help set the quilt edges. I'll put in the description a handout, and this handout will help you identify what you're going to want. I have put them by the color codes, so you'll have a good idea on what they can be used for. So it's a good reference at a glance. I'll also put a link in the description, and the link will actually go right to the Heat and Bond Company, where they have another chart that sort of does the same thing. It gives you a good idea on what the color codes mean. Now that we know the differences, it's going to be a lot easier to buy when we need to buy. I'll put a link in the description to the handouts, and as always, thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe and come on back. Let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.